El Cafecito. Today we have Kaylee King. She's the head cheer coach here at Angelo State. If you want to tell us a little bit about your life here.
Yeah, so I started here about 5 years ago, and so we're going into our 5th season. 4-time national champions. We've had a good run. We got the biggest team thus far this year, 41 cheerleaders. So really excited for this upcoming season. But yeah, 5 years. It's gone by really fast.
5 years and 4 national championships.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Is that like obviously you want to do well with your team coming in. Was that an expectation, or were you just...
No, in fact, the expectation wasn't even for me to take them and compete the first year.
Wow.
But we ended up getting the funding for it, said we'd take a chance. So we took 12, believe it or not, and ended up winning our first championship the first year with 12.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time coming on here
Absolutely.
today, and got some fun questions. You ready to get into it?
Sure.
Okay, starting off. What time does your alarm go off in the morning?
Well, I have an 11-month-old, so
Okay.
whenever she wakes up is when my alarm goes off. So sometime between 5 and 8 a.m. on any given day.
Okay, and then roughly 2 hours interspersed throughout the night?
No, she sleeps through the night.
Awesome.
So
Okay.
yes, but when she gets up is whenever I have to wake up.
Yep.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, what's your favorite place to get takeout or delivery from?
Bonsai.
Bonsai. Good
Yes.
call. Good call.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather eat there, but if
Yeah.
we're gonna do takeout, Bonsai.
What is your first memory or best memory, however you want to interpret this question here at Angelo State?
So my first memory / kind of best memory was my interview here. So I'm originally from Michigan.
Okay.
So my interview, the first round of it was phone interview.
Yeah.
And then when they wanted to meet me, they flew me down. And it was the most whirlwind 24 hours of my whole life.
I
Because that's
bet.
the only time I was in San Angelo, was 24 hours.
Wow.
And so I came down, and Clint picked me up from the airport, and I literally traveled to every office on this campus to interview with somebody.
Wow.
From the president's office, you name it. I was
Yeah.
everywhere. But it was really cool at the same time to kind of meet everybody so fast. I met the team. I met everybody in our office. But I remember getting back on the plane with the job offer, just thinking, okay, what just happened? It
Yeah.
was just the fastest 24 hours ever. But I had already felt like I was already at home, and that was really
Awesome.
cool. Yeah.
So prior to, I guess that was San Angelo, Texas, something ever even on your radar?
Well, my best friend lived in San Antonio
Okay.
for a while. She was my college roommate, and so she moved down here after getting married to San Antonio, and I knew I wanted to be in Texas. I've always
Yeah.
wanted to be in Texas,
Okay.
but when I came to visit her, it definitely solidified that I wanted to be in Texas. But I didn't really care where, so
Yeah.
I just started looking for coaching jobs. I knew I wanted to coach full-time, and this is where I ended up.
Awesome. Well, it worked out. What is the silliest thing you're passionate about?
This is crazy, but my daughter and I have so many matching outfits, and it's kind of become like a bad spending habit in a way. But there's all these websites out there with mommy and me outfits, and every time I see them, I just have to buy them. So we have too many matching clothes for a daughter that's 11 months and is going to outgrow them very quickly. But
do
yes.
you do this is this a regular
Oh, yes.
day thing? Okay, so day in, day out, y'all are matching?
Yeah, I mean, there's not many days that go by that we don't match.
Okay.
But we have a monthly subscription that sends us matching
it's hard not to
clothes.
Bite that hook then.
And then we just have all these websites we order from. So, yeah, we like
Okay.
to match. I'm going to milk that for as long as
Yeah,
I can
it's
until
only-
she doesn't like it anymore.
So be 19 and, Mom, this has to
Probably
stop.
not.
How would you say going to college shaped you as a person?
For me, my college experience, I went to Michigan State.
Okay.
And it made me grow up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I came from a really small hometown, 96 in my graduating class, which I know isn't small for some people here, but it was small for up there. To going to a massive Division I university. I had to grow up quick. I had to learn a lot of responsibility. I had to pay for my own college, so I had to learn to juggle things. And then I was also coaching. I coached high school while I was in college, and I was cheering while I was in college. So
Wow.
time management.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So kind of all those things, but just really taught me how to be an adult.
Yeah. And then, so at any point, did you find all that pressure kind of started to let up a little bit?
Yeah, so I graduated in 3 years instead of 4. So
Okay.
by the time I got towards that third year, you're kind of at the finish line. And I had finally picked a major that I really liked, so that helped. And then I decided to stop cheering and continue coaching because I just knew that's where my passion was.
Yeah.
So when I didn't have to juggle being a coach and an athlete at the same time, it definitely kind of eased some of that pressure.
Okay. What was your major originally?
Advertising. Or originally,
Yeah.
criminal justice,
Okay.
psychology. And then I switched it to advertising.
Wow.
Yeah. Absolutely nothing to do with coaching. It's
See,
fine.
and that's funny because it seems like most people end up in just, you never know where you're going to end up from where you start. Like.
Yeah, and then there wasn't coaching as a major. That wasn't something that
Yeah.
Michigan State offered, and so that wasn't even a realm that I could think of. So I knew that I needed something else that I would enjoy if coaching didn't work out for me.
Right. Well, that's super cool. What is a fad that you hope makes a comeback?
Okay, so I don't know if you even know what they are, but those little Tamagotchis,
Oh, yeah.
where you could like grow your own little pet. Yeah, I had a few too many of those as a kid,
Yep.
so I don't know. It'd be kind of fun to see if my daughter could have one instead of a cell phone that can do all the things.
I think they're making a comeback. I have a 6-year-old. I'm older than I'm almost 30. But she had one for a little bit. And
Really?
I had one, yeah. And what was your favorite Tamagotchi? Do you remember any of them specifically?
Not specifically,
Okay.
no. But I just remember like my brother had a ton of them, and so I had a ton
Yeah.
of them, and it was just a trend. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Those, good times.
As far as fashion trends, none of them. That needs to stay in the
Leave them.
90s. But they're already all back, so.
What song would you sing for karaoke if you had to write this moment?
So I had to laugh at this because I don't really listen to music right now because, as you know, having a little kid, it's all their music.
Yep.
But my daughter's obsessed with the Golden Girls, so we
Really?
listen to the Golden Girls theme song on replay often. So I could probably tell you that whole song. Paw Patrol, because we watched that. And then, don't know if you remember, but the show Smart Guy.
Yes.
And she loves that. So we listen to that theme song
How
a
cool.
lot. So she's a 90s baby.
How did she get into the Golden Girls?
We started watching it one day on TV, and now every time the theme song comes on, she instantly turns her head, and
Just lights up.
we'll just sit there and watch it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's
I don't know.
cool. What aspect of coaching here at Angelo State have you found most rewarding?
For me, it's watching them grow, not only as athletes, but as a person.
Yeah.
Getting through school, overcoming some of those obstacles. Coaching so much more than just, okay, I teach you a practice and then that's it, right? Like, I get to see them in every aspect of their life. And so watching them build relationships and be successful after they leave here and getting to hear about the success that they've had and knowing that I had a little bit to do with getting them to that point is probably the most rewarding.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, winning is nice, but it's not all
Okay,
about
yeah.
that. I like to grow them as people.
Right. Do you tend to keep up with people once they move on? And
I do. So I try to remember everybody's birthdays and keep on top of the happy birthday text at least.
Yeah.
And then, they all follow our social media. So I do my best to kind of, hey, how's it going? What are you doing these days? Just let them know that I still care even though they're not here.
What is your favorite quote from a movie, show, or a book?
Okay, so I am really big into Proactive Coaching. It's a company, and they have several coaching books, not just for cheerleading, but for coaching across the board. So my favorite quote is, character is what you do when no one is watching, but character is also the example you set when everyone is watching.
Okay.
So we're really big on that in our program, and just making sure that, we're of integrity at all times, and we're constantly under, the public eye, but it's also, what are you doing when nobody's watching?
Yeah.
Are you skipping on your reps? Are you not running your full mile? All those things that, are just not being a great team player. And so we want to hold them to the highest character standard that we can.
Is that something like that you've carried throughout like the program since you've been here? I mean, obviously the idea was probably already there.
Yeah.
How has it been like bringing that to the team and the students and?
Well, I mean, it was definitely a culture shift when I got here from having a part-time coach, because I'm the first full-time coach that they've had. And so just having somebody around in the office, accessible to them all the time, was a change. I came in with high expectations. I tell them always that I'm the coach that wants what she wants when she wants it.
Right.
And so I expect the best out of them, and not just on the mat or not just on the sidelines, like
Okay.
in their everyday behavior. And so it was hard, but I've always been told set the expectation and they'll rise to it, and they really have.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool.
What is the best piece of advice that has been handed down to you, and by who?
Okay, so my high school coach used to say, all you can do is all you can do. And for the longest time, I didn't really know what she meant by that, but I finally one day understood that she meant that if you gave your absolute best, even if it wasn't good enough, that's all you could absolutely do. So I tell my cheerleaders that not just for cheer, but for school as well. If you studied for that exam and you know you gave every ounce of effort you could, then it's just going to play out how it's supposed to, because you can't be anybody but you. So all you can do is all you can do, and you just have to know and be comfortable that you did everything you could.
Yeah.
So it was a good piece of advice. I didn't quite understand it back then, but now it makes a lot of sense.
What is something you've been meaning to try, but just haven't gotten around to?
Skydiving.
Okay.
I have been saying that I was going to go skydiving for years, and I've just not done it. So I turned 30 this upcoming year, so maybe, just maybe, I'll actually do it.
Go
My
for
birthday's
it.
also in January, so like, you can't really, well, I guess you can here, but
Yeah.
really skydive many places. So.
I know I think there's a place up the road somewhere.
Yeah.
But you also want to make sure they're all like,
Yeah,
like,
exactly. So I need to just do it, and like, because I've been wanting to for probably at least 5 years now, and just keep chickening out. Yeah.
You just gotta sign
I
yourself
know,
up
I
and
know.
go backing out.
I know.
We'll have to do a follow-up once you make it happen. So.
Yes. Ask me how it was.
Okay, in the event of a zombie apocalypse, where would you hunker down and why?
My house. I only say that because, I mean, it literally has everything, and I don't want to relocate to anywhere else, so I'm just going to sit there, and I guess whatever happens, happens. But
kind of goes back
yes,
to that last.
there's, comfort in being in your own house, so I guess if I get taken out by a zombie, at least I went out in my own house. Yeah, I'm not a fighter in that, so hopefully that never happens. I'll be in
So
trouble.
which app would you recommend students download?
Well, for the lack of sounding cliche, the ASU one,
Yeah.
because I know when I first got here, people would send me to certain buildings and had no clue where I was going.
Right.
But I also didn't want to ask everybody how to get to those places, so I'd like be on my phone, pretending like I was doing something else. And so I tell my freshmen that every year, like, just pretend like you're texting, but really you're trying to follow your map to get to class. It's okay.
Yeah.
So if for no other reason than that,
Yeah.
that's probably a good reason.
Question: what piece of advice do you have for new students coming in the fall?
Get involved. And I know that everybody's going to say that, but there's got to be something that you can get involved in. Well, kind of two parts. Get involved and make friends that you don't already know. And so that's really big, especially for my team, because we practice over the summer, so they've already made friends, right? And then we move in early, 2 weeks early, so they'll be, best friends by that point. But I try to encourage them to make friends that they don't already know, because if you're just hanging out with the same person all the time, at some point that's going to get old. So really making sure that they're getting involved in other things that aren't cheerleading or whatever they came in with, and then making sure that they make friends outside of their normal friend group.
Yeah.
So, spread your horizons.
Absolutely. Good stuff. I'm sorry for the
No, you're good.
little mishap, but anyway, Coach King, thank you so much for your time and for sitting in with me, and have a great rest of your day, and everybody else, thank you for watching, and stick around for our next episode. Who knows where we'll be? Probably right here. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.